U.S. would be willing to use force to defend Taiwan. U.S. supports Japan to be in UN Security Council. Russian diplomat slams Kremlin in public resignation. Starbucks to leave Russia. The Chinese will abandon Russian LNG. Pandemic times created a billionaire a day. Colombia to train Ukrainians to landmine removal. Russia will officially recognize cryptocurrencies.
Hello, I'm Peggy. Thank you for joining us on FUNDAY News. It is May 25th, Wednesday, and here are your top stories. U.S. President Joe Biden said on May 23rd that the U.S. would intervene militarily if China were to invade Taiwan. This is one of the most forceful and overt statements made in decades by the U.S. about its support for Taiwan. Biden said the burden to protect the self-ruled island was even stronger after Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Biden said he would be willing to use force to defend Taiwan and that the United States stands with other nations to make sure China cannot use force against Taiwan.
You didn't want to get involved in the Ukraine conflict militarily for obvious reasons. Are you willing to get involved militarily to defend Taiwan if it comes to that?
Yes.
Speaking at a news conference in Tokyo, Biden said, "That's the commitment we made." He said an effort by China to use force against Taiwan would just not be appropriate, saying it will dislocate the entire region and be another action similar to what happened in Ukraine. He added that China is flirting with danger in Taiwan by flying close to the island. The U.S. White House National Security Advisor Jack Sullivan said a day earlier that the U.S. wants to deepen its economic partnership with Taiwan, including on high technology issues and semiconductor supply on a one-to-one basis.
Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida said on May 23rd, the U.S. President Joe Biden told him the United States will support Japan becoming a permanent member of a reformed Security Council. Reuters reported that Biden met one-on-one with Kishida in Tokyo, where the two discussed the Japan-U.S. alliance and ways to ensure security and cooperation on the international stage. Kishida made the announcement later on 23rd May at a public press conference.
Kishida said at the press conference that the necessity to reform and strengthen the United Nations, including the Security Council, which bears an important responsibility for the peace and stability of the international community, and said that Biden was supportive. And the president stated that the United States will support Japan becoming a permanent member of the reformed Security Council. U.S. media, The Hill, noted that adding Japan to the Security Council would add another nation from the Indo-Pacific region that could provide a counterweight to China.
A 20-year veteran of Russia's diplomatic delegation to the United Nations in Geneva slammed his country's invasion of Ukraine and accused his foreign ministry of warmongering, lies, and hatred as he publicly resigned his position on May 23rd. Media reported the Russian diplomat Boris Bondarev, who posted a statement on a LinkedIn account condemning Russia's invasion of Ukraine and criticizing the Russian Ministry of Foreign Affairs for complicity in what he described as an aggressive war.
In his post on LinkedIn, Bondarev wrote, "The aggressive war unleashed by Putin against Ukraine and in fact against the entire Western world is not only a crime against the Ukrainian people, but also, perhaps, the most serious crime against the people of Russia, with a bold letter Z crossing out all hopes and prospects for a prosperous, free society in our country." CNN reported that the respected Russian business newspaper, Kommersant, reached Bondarev, who confirmed the authenticity of the post.
The world's largest chain of coffee shop, Starbucks, will withdraw entirely from Russia. Starbucks said it was suspending all business activity in Russia, including shipment of Starbucks products, and would no longer have a brand presence there. Starbucks suspended all business activity in Russia in early March, where the company had 130 branches, employing a staff of around 2,000 people. Starbucks said it would continue to pay employees wages for 6 months and help them find new jobs.
Starbucks president Kevin Johnson wrote on the company's website on May 23rd, noted that, as I communicated Friday, we condemn the horrific attacks on Ukraine by Russia and our hearts go out to all those affected. Starbucks entered Russia in 2007. BBC reported the Kuwait-based Al Shaya Group, which owns and operates the Starbucks stores, said the decision to leave was a Starbucks announcement and referred questions to the coffee chain. It did not say whether it would seek or sell its stores or reopen under a new brand.
Media reported by the end of May, at least 5 Chinese companies may suspend the production of module for the joint project of building the Arctic LNG-2 gas liquefaction plant with Russia's Novatek. Chinese contractor fears that they themselves will be subject to sanction by continuing to work for the Russians. Yet, a source at the Bomask Offshore Engineering responsible for the construction of 10 module for the project said that the final decision to withdraw from Arctic LNG-2 has not yet been made.
The Arctic LNG-2 plant is the second major gas export project of the private Novatek after Yamal LNG, the pipeline transporting gas to the west. The cost of the investment of the Arctic LNG-2 plant is estimated at $21 billion. After the imposition of international sanctions on both Novatek and the state-owned bank VTB, the company announced that it plans to transfer VTB's share to Gazprom Bank. This will increase Gazprom's influence, and thus the Kremlin, on the entire investment. Chinese contractors fear that they themselves will be subject to sanctions by continuing to work for the Russians.
According to an analysis released by Oxfam on May 22nd, some 573 people have joined the billionaire ranks since 2020, bringing the worldwide total to 2,668. That means, during the pandemic, on average, every 30 hours, a new billionaire was made. Head of Inequality Policy of Oxfam, Max Lawson, said, much of the jump in wealth comes in the first year of pandemic. Billionaires have seen their total net worth soar by 3.8 trillion, or 42%, to 12.7 trillion during the pandemic.
According to the analysis, billionaires in the food and agribusiness sector have seen their total wealth increase by $382 billion, or 45% over the past 2 years. After adjusting for inflation, some 62 food billionaires were created since 2020. Meanwhile, the net worth of their peers in the oil, gas, and coal sectors jumped by $53 billion, or 24% since 2020, after adjusting for inflation. And 40 new pandemic billionaires were created in the pharmaceutical industry.
Colombia's Defense Minister Diego Molano announced on May 23rd, a team of Colombian soldiers will travel to Europe to train the Ukrainian military on demining techniques. Colombia is a NATO partner country and one of the world's most mined countries after nearly 60 years of internal conflict between the armed forces, leftist rebel, right-wing paramilitaries, and drug cartels. Minister Molano said the experts from Colombia were invited to give the training by the United States.
According to data of the Colombia government, lead mines have killed 2,342 people in Colombia and injured close to 10,000 since 1990. The country was tagged as the world's most mined countries by the United Nations. In a statement, Colombia Defense Minister Molano said this training will be given by 11 Colombian military engineers who will go to a NATO member country, which is a neighbor of Ukraine. Russian soldiers and Ukrainian authorities both have said they will clear landmines from various locations in Ukraine.
Rzeczpospolita reported on May 19th, since the decentralized cryptocurrency market could help Russians efficiently bypass Western sanctions on many levels. The Russian Minister of Industry and Trade, Denis Manturov, said, the Russians want to recognize cryptocurrencies as the official tender. This is essentially a 180-degree change in their digital assets policy. Russia's Minister of Finance expects cryptocurrency regulation in Russia to be introduced this year. That means the cryptocurrencies as official means of payment can be legalized in Russia.
Rzeczpospolita reported the Ministry of Finance of Russia is working on the issue of taxation of income from trading digital assets. Both the central bank and the government of Russia are also actively working in this direction. Data from AAA showed cryptocurrency is listed as Russia's fifth most popular investment vehicle with a percentage rating of 17%, ahead of gold's 16% as well as stocks and shares 10%. It is estimated that over 11.9% of Russia's total population, that's 17.3 million Russians, currently own cryptocurrency.
And that's all the time we have for today. Thank you for joining us on FUNDAY News. Let's make every day a fun day. I'm Peggy, your host. I'll see you next time.